Okay, so this is literally the first video on my channel. Welcome to Math with Morgan. Okay, I'm sorry, I look a little sweaty. I live in a very hot, I almost said cold, hot area. So welcome to Math with Morgan. On this channel we'll be having a lot of math tutorials. We're going to have tutorials on SAT, GCSEs, GCE, you name it. We're gonna have a lot of tutorials, even on algebra. You know, I'm a math enthusiast and I'm also a math tutor, an online tutor to be precise. So I opened this channel to be able to help students out there, you know, get some free education or wherever they get stuck in math. So I did not expect this intro to be this long, but then on today's video we'll be looking at the paper 1 of 2020 GCSEs, and it's the higher level, so you're gonna have to put away your calculator since it's paper 1. So yeah, if you like this type of content, math tutorials and stuff, just subscribe. You know, you can subscribe or you can give this video a thumbs up. Well, I'm not gonna bother you with a lot of, you know, cliche stuff, subscribe and stuff. You will if you want to. So let's get started. The first part says answer all questions. Write your answers in the spaces provided, and you know, all of the instructions that we usually do. The first 5 items of an arithmetic sequence are 1, 4, 7, 10, and 13. Write down an expression of n in terms of this sequence. Okay, so first of all, we want to identify the pattern in the sequence. So it goes from 1 to 4, 4 to 7, and 7 to 10. So what do you observe? That is already a pattern of adding 3 to get the next number. So hold on, I'm just gonna have n here, which represents the positions of each term. Well, the terms are 1, 4, 7, 10, and 13. And this is the first, the second, third, fourth, and fifth. But like I was saying, we have adding 3 in the pattern. So that means we're representing the 3 times tables. So this would be 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay, now we want to make sure that we can go back. We want to make sure that we can go back to the original equation. We want to make sure that we can go back to the original sequence, which is 1, 4, 7, and 10. So we just basically have to find the difference between these two values. So we would see that from 3, if you want to go back to 1, you're going to have to take away 2. From 6 to 4, you take away 2. From 9 to 7, you take away 2. Now what does that mean? It would mean that our sequence would have an n term of 3 and minus 2. Now you can test this out for any value that you want. When n equal to 1, you're going to have 3 minus 2, which is 1. N equal to 2, you're going to have 3 times 2, which is 6. 6 minus 4. 6 minus 2 is 4, pardon me. And so on. Okay, let's go on to the next question, which says, show that 2 and 1/3 times 3 and 3/4 equals to 8 and 3/4. Okay, let's go ahead. Well, first of all, we're going to start by changing these numbers into improper fractions. These are already mixed numbers, so we're going to have to do 3 times 2 plus 1 over 3, and then we're multiplying that by 3. Hold on, that's way too big. 3 times 4, and then add 3 over 4. Okay, now this is going to give us 3 times 2, which is 6, plus 1, that will be 7 over 3. And then right over here, we're going to have 3 times 4 plus 3, which is 12 plus 3, that will be 15 over 4. Okay, so what you can do now is multiply the numerators together and the denominators together. But then I can show you an easy trick to make you a little bit faster in the exams. Is first of all simplify it. So you'd like try to cancel out the bottoms with the tops, even if it's on opposite sides. So here's what I mean. 3 is over here on this side. You can cancel out, which is at the bottom. Remember, bottom to top. Okay, so 3 divides 3 one time. 15 is divisible by 3 as well. and that goes in 5 times. So now we have 7 times 5, that would be 35 over 1 times 4, that would be 4. Okay, now we have to simplify this. How many 4s are in 35? There will be 8 wholes according to the times table, because 8 times 4 equals 32, and 3 will be left over, and we have our answer, which is what they were asking for. I don't know why I keep on saving this. That's unintentional. Okay, the next question says the diagram shows 4 graphs. So we have the 4 graphs. Each of the equations in the table is the equation of one of the graphs. Let me just try changing the settings 1 second so that we can see both of them at the same time. Okay, that works, I would say. So complete the table. That's what it wants us to do. So the first graph, I would say, or I would advise that you should look at the graphs that you're familiar with. So in this case, we are most familiar with the y equal to x squared. You may be familiar with, another graph. It all depends on you. Go with the ones you're most familiar with and answer them at that instant. So y equal to x squared is a quadratic graph, so definitely it's going to be graph D. So I'm just going to put here D, and then now we have y equal to x cubed. Now this is going to be either this or this, graph B or C, but we don't know yet. So how do we do that? It's a cubic equation. So what does that mean? If you put in a value of x, which is negative, and you cube it, the answer will still be negative, right? So it means that if you have a negative x, you're going to also have a negative y. Okay, so just go ahead and look for the graph that will have 2 negatives matching onto each other. So in graph B, let's take a look. We have a positive y matching a negative x, which is not what we want. Okay, so that already eliminates it. And then if we go on to graph C, we'll have, you see, a negative x and a negative y. So this is likely graph C, and the other one would definitely be graph B. And then lastly, we're gonna have graph A, and that's it. You don't even need to work it out. Now the next part says the diagram shows 4 triangles. Okay, 2 of these triangles are congruent. Write down the letters of these 2 triangles. So what is the meaning of congruent? They have exactly the same shape and size, but one has been rotated, reflected, or there's been a transformation on it to get the other one. So they must have exactly the same angles in them. Okay, now with that said, we have over here 55 degrees, 45 degrees. I think it'll be great if we find the other angle. So we have to just look for this other angle. We do 45 plus 55, and that's going to give us 100. So 180 minus 100, that means this will be 80 degrees. So it means 10 is directly opposite to 80 degrees, which is over here. Okay, that's going to help us. All right, so let's check all the triangles that would have 55 and 45 adjacent to each other, and the 10, they're lying on top of the 10 centimeter line. So triangle B, well, it has 45 opposite to 10 centimeter, which is not what we want. Like I said, they must lie on the same line. Triangle C, the 55 is opposite to the 10, which is not what we want. That means the answer is going to be D, because here the 80 degrees is opposite to the 10 centimeters, and it also 10 centimeters also lie on the same line as the 45 degrees. So A and D are congruent. Okay, I'm probably over explaining these, but then if you understand more, I guess you can go at a faster pace. You can fast forward the video or something. It all depends on you. Okay, next question. Sean pays 10 bars of chocolate. Sean pays 10 pounds for 24 bars of chocolate. or 24 chocolate bars, just as the question says. He sells, I don't know what's happening. He sells all 24 chocolate bars for 50p each. Work out Sean's percentage profit. Okay, so first of all, we need to get his cost price and his selling price for all the 24 bars of chocolate. If he's paying £10 for the 24, his cost price is definitely 24. Oh my goodness, £10. Then he sells 24 chocolate bars for 50p each. Okay, if he's selling one bar for 50p, how much will be 24? You just got to do 24 times 50. So I'm going to ignore the 0 and work out 24 times 5 real quick. That'll be 20, 10. So that gives us 120. Then I put back the 0, so the answer is 1200p. And keep in mind, this is equivalent to £1. Sorry, that is equivalent to £12. Okay, now that we know that, we know his cost price and his selling price, now we can work out his percentage profit, which is basically, well, his selling price minus his cost price over his cost price times that by 100. That'll be 12 minus 10 over 10 times 100, which is 2 times 100, all divided by 10. One of the zeros cancel out, and our answer is 20%. Okay. Next page. ADC is a triangle. AED and ABC are straight lines. EB is parallel to DC. Angle ABC is 148 degrees and angle ADC is 63 degrees. Work out the size of angle EAB. You must give a reason for each stage of your working. Okay, so they want us to work out angle EAB. So this right here, we're just going to call it X. How about that? Okay. So well, we can start off by working out this angle over here so that we can consider this as a smaller triangle. All right, so if we work out that angle, it's going to be 180 minus 148, and the reason for our answer is angles on a straight line are up to 180. So, well, we have to borrow 1 over here. This will be 2, 7 left over, 3, 32 degrees. This is 32 degrees. Now, if we have this, we would also need this angle right over here. So, if I extend this a little bit, let's take a look at what could happen. So if this is an angle formed by 2 parallel lines, we should know that these are alternate. So this is 63 degrees. And since this is 63 degrees, remember this is still, wait, hold on. Let me just zoom out a little bit for you. Okay. And then maybe I'm going to use a different color pencil. So like I was saying, this is a straight line. Now, if I map these out again, what do I notice? These are vertically opposite angles. So this is 63. It means that this would also be 63. Okay, there's so many ways to do this. This is just one of the ways to do this. So if that is 63 degrees as well, we can now work out X. So I've given you the reasons at each stage, okay? So I first of all said that this would be 63 degrees because it's alternate, okay? And then I said this will also be 63 from here to here because they're vertically opposite. Or Or I just realized you can just extend these like so, and what do you notice? These are corresponding angles. Okay, so angle EDC corresponds to angle, put the angle side, okay, corresponds to angle AEB. Okay, that's even an easier way to do it. Okay, so now that we've got that, we have 180 degrees minus 63 plus 32, because angles in a triangle always add up to 180. Okay, this will be 180 minus, why is this so thin? 180 minus 95. Okay, working out that without a calculator real quickly, you should get 85. Question number 7. The table shows information about the height in centimeters of a group of year 9 girls. This stem and leaf diagram shows information about the height in centimeters of a group of 15-year-old boys compared to distributions of the heights of the girls with the distributions of the heights of the boys. So we have 3 points for this. Well, if we want to compare it, we can first of all look at the median, because the median here is 165. Now, to get the median of this stem and leaf diagram, we need to identify the middle. So there's 15 boys. The middle is going to be at the 7.5. It's going to be at the 8th position, because 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. Okay, so we just need to count 7 on each side. So this is 158, 159, 59 again. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I end there, and then I go on the last value and I count 7 values again, moving upwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there we go. We have our star, which is the 8, and it's in the 16 row. That's going to be 168 as the median for boys. Okay, so this gives information about the height. It means that the boys' height would be higher than the girl's height on average, because from here the girls have 165 centimeters as their height, so we can say on average the boys are taller than the girls. Now the next thing we can compare is their range, the range of values. The height, the least height for the girls, I'm gonna just change the color real quick. So the least height for the girls, let me erase this, okay, would be 150, and the greatest is 170. So the range here, 150 minus 170, which is 20 centimeters. Okay, then the least height, delete this, the least height for the boys is 158. I'm getting it from here, and the greatest height is 182. So if I subtract these two values, 182, 158, pardon me, well, I'm gonna borrow 1. Wait, why am I writing up in this small space? 1 second. Okay, so let's keep going. We had to do 182 minus 158. Just gonna borrow 1 quickly here. That makes 4, 7 left over, 2, so it's 24. So the range for the boys equal to 24, while the range for the girls was 20. So there's a wider spread in the heights of the boys than the girls. That's another thing we can say. Next question. The diagram shows a prism placed on a horizontal floor. The prism has a height 3 meters. The volume of the prism is 18 cubic meters. The pressure on the floor due to the prism is 75 newtons per square meter. Work out the force exerted by the prism on the floor. Okay, they've told us that pressure equal to force over area. They've given us the volume already and the height of the prism. So for any prism, you should know that volume is equal to its area times its height, alright? So it means that our area would be the volume over the height, which equals 18 over 3, and that will be 6, not centimeters, meters, okay? They told us that the pressure is 75 newtons per square meter. So if we want to work out the force, we got to do pressure times area. So we need to do 75 times 6, and doing that quickly, we're going to have 30 carry over 3. 7 times 6 is 42 plus 3, 45. So it's 450 newtons. You have to be really fast with this because it's 1 hour 30 minutes. Write these numbers in order of size. So first of all, when it comes, whenever I see these questions, want to make sure you convert all of them to decimals because it's actually easier that way. Remove all these exponent thingies that are here, okay? So this would be 6.72 times 10 to the power 5. So that means we need to move 5 times to the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means there'll be extra 3 zeros. So 6, 7, 2. Extra 3 zeros. That's the first. Here we have -4. We're moving to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there'll be 2 zeros in front of this. So 0.00672. Then this one, 672. That one is actually easy. You just need to add 4 zeros at the end. And then we compare it with 0.000672. And then I'm just gonna order this. Well, they say from smallest. Smallest would be this one, since it has 0.000. The second would be this. Third would be this. And then fourth. So that's it. Okay. Next part. Given that A over B equals to 2 fifths and B over C equals to 3 fifths, find A is to B is to C. So first of all, we want to make sure we write down the ratio. A to B is 2 to 5, and then B to C is 3 to 4. Okay, if you want to write a ratio in this format, which has been asked, you want to make sure that these two numbers are the same. And what do? You simply just cross multiply them. Okay, so you're going to multiply this side. Hold on 1 second. Gonna multiply this side by 3, multiply this side by 5. And if you're multiplying 5 by 3, please make sure you're multiplying 2 by 3 as well. So it's going to be 6 is to 15, and then here it will be 15 is to multiply this by 5. That will be 20. Okay, now that they are the same, we're just going to bring them together as 1. And that gives us our answer. 6 is to 15 is to 20. And funny enough, oh no, we cannot simplify this. I wanted to say we can simplify. Moving on, next question. Find the value of the fourth root of 81 times 10 to the power 8. Okay, so when we're talking about fourth root, it's the same thing as having a power of a quarter. Okay, so 81, let's first of all change or switch that up. We can break it down by using a factor tree. It depends on you. You can use a factor tree or you can use this division method. So you break it down using a factor tree. This would be 9 and 9, 3 and 3. So 80. 81 equals to 3 to the power 4. And now we can rewrite the question. So we're finding the fourth root of 3 to the power 4 times 10 to the power 8. And actually we can separate this so that we can give each one a separate power. So this will be 3 to the power 4, and then I put 1/4, so this goes out and becomes 1/4 times 10 to the power 8 to the power 1/4. Makes it a lot easier. The 4 cancels out, so we're going to have 3 here, and then here we're going to have to do 8 times a quarter, which is 2, so times 10 squared, and the answer will be 300. Question B, find the value of 64 to the power negative a half. Okay, negative half means, well, the negative there means it's a fraction. We need to write this reciprocal, which would be 1 over 64 to the power half. Okay, it has to go to the bottom. And in that case, we know that when we have a half, it simply means square root, so square root of 64. And our answer is 1/8. Right, 3n as a power of 3. 3n over 9 to the power n minus 1 is a power of 3. Okay. So we want to make sure that the 9 here changes and has a base of 3. So 9n minus 1 will be 3 squared n minus 1, which is 3 to the power 2n minus 2. Okay, I'm just going to rewrite the question. 3 to the power n over 3 to the power n, 3 to the power 2n minus 2. And when you're dividing bases which are the same, what do? You just subtract the powers. So this will be 3 to the power n minus 2n minus 2. I just put that in parentheses. I just put that in brackets so that you'll be able to see that these 2 minuses will make a plus. So you're going to have 3 to the power n minus 2n plus 2. And this would be 3 to the power negative n plus 2. And that's it. We can even simplify this a little bit further since it has a negative power. So we can actually have 3 to the power negative n times 3 to the power 2, and then we have 3 squared over 3 to the power negative n. That's what is, oh my goodness, 3 to the power n, and that's what it will look like. It says in the power of 3, so don't try changing this to 9 again. Okay, so those are the answers. Question 12. The table gives information about weekly wages of 80 people. Complete the cumulative frequency table. So, cumulative frequency would mean we need to just add these numbers up on each other. So this will be 5, 15, 15 plus 20 is 35, 35 plus 20 again, 55, 55 plus 15, 70, and 80. Let me tell you something. The frequency or the cumulative frequency would always add up to the number of people in the data set. Okay, then it says on the grid opposite, draw a cumulative frequency graph for your table. So it starts from 200 to 250. So 200 is the base value, means this is where the graph would start. So you're gonna put an X over here. Then we have 250 matching 1 to 5, so the higher or the upper bound. 3 matching 1 to 5, that would be right over here. 300 matching on to 15, right over here. Pretty straightforward, I must say. Then we have 35 matching on to 350. Okay, 35 is right over here. 400 margin onto 55. That is here. And then 70 margin onto 450, so 70. 80 margin onto 500. There we go. Just link these up nice and neatly. I would like to use another color, so just take red. And then oh, I was hoping I was just gonna do it all in one round. Wait a second, now that looks horrible. Okay. Not bad at all. That's an estimate. Good. So let's move on. Now it says on the grid opposite, oh, draw, we've done that. Joanne says 60% of this group of people have a weekly wage of $360 or less. Is Joanne correct? You must show your working. We can actually find the number of people who earn 360 pounds or less by mapping this out on our graph. Just gonna use this. Okay, so 360, if this is 350, this is 400. It increases by 50. 360 would be 50 divided by 10. That makes 5. So it increases in 5. So 1 square unit is 5. If 1 square unit is 5, that means 360 will be right over here. Boom. Okay, so I'm just gonna map this upward to our graph. This is an estimate, okay? And then back over here. Okay, so now these are wages which have been mapped on to the number of people, and that gives us 40 people. So it means that 40 people earn 350 or less. But now, does that match on to 60% of the people? Let's work it out. So we're going to have to work out 60% of the number of people. 60% of 80 people. That's going to be 4,800 over 100. And that gives us 48 people. Okay, so it's not correct because according to the graph, it's 40 people. People who earn this wage, and 48 is somewhat over here. Right there. Right there. Okay. Moving on. Okay, we're not gonna need this anymore, so boom. We have question 13. Liquid A and liquid B are mixed together to make a liquid C. Why am I always coming up with some extra words? They are mixed to make liquid C. Liquid A has a density of 70 kilograms per cubic meters. Liquid A has a mass of 1400 kilograms. Liquid B has a density of 280 kilograms cubic meter. Liquid B has also a volume of 30 cubic meters. Work out density of liquid C. Okay, so they are both combined. We have to combine their masses together. So first of all, we know that density is equal to mass over volume. So we're gonna need their combined volumes. So let's start off with that. Volume would be mass over density. So volume of A, liquid A, would be its mass, which is 1400 over 70. That's super easy. That would be 20. For B, they give its density and its volume, so we need to find its mass. The mass of B would just be its density times its volume, which would be 280 times 30. So I'm just going to quickly do 28 times 3, 4, 2, 6 plus 2 is 8. And that would give me 8400. Okay. Erase this. And that's in kilograms. So now the density of C will be their combined masses. So 8400 plus the mass of this one was 1400 divided by their combined volumes as well. So volume of A, which is 20, and then volume of B, which is 30. Okay, adding this up, that will be 9800 over 50. 1 0 cancels out. You can use the bus stop method to work this out, and your answer should be 1, 9, 3 left over, 6, 196. Okay, that should be your answer. And now let's move on to the next question, shall we? Sally plays 2 games against Martin. In each game, Sally could win, draw or lose. In each game they play, the probability that Sally will win against Martin is 0.3. The probability that Sally will draw against Martin is 0.1. Work out the probability that Sally will win exactly one of the 2 games. Okay. If she wants to win at least or exactly one of the 2 games, it means we have to find the probability that she wins. She wins the first time, loses the second time, or we find the probability that she wins the first time. Hold on, she loses the first time and wins the second time, or she draws the first time and wins the second time, or she wins the first time and then draws the second time. I guess you guys see where this is going. So that would be it, I guess. She can either win, draw, or win and lose. That's it. Those are all the possibilities. And now we just plug those in right there. So the probability, well, if I simplify this, I'm going to have 2 probabilities of losing and winning. And the order does not really matter if she won the first time or not. And 2 probabilities of winning and drawing. Okay, so now the probability of winning and drawing the second time would be, winning is 0.3 times 0.1, that would be 0.03. And then probability for losing and winning would be 0. Okay, they didn't give us a probability for losing, so we know that probabilities all add up to 1. So probability for losing would definitely be 1 minus 0.3 plus 0.1. Okay, and that would be equal to 0.6. Okay, so probability of her losing is 0. Sorry, this is getting a bit messy. Okay, so it's 0.6, so 0.6 times her probability of her winning, which is 0.3. Okay, that will be equal to 0.18. Alright, I am gonna have to reduce this a little bit, have more space. Okay, now we want to find the probability. We want to find the probability that she would win exactly 1 time. So I'm just going to plug everything that we got into this equation right here. No, the second one, which is simplified. So the probability that she wins exactly once would be 2 times 0.03 plus, oh that's so bubbly, 3 plus 2 2 times 0.18. Okay, all of this without a calculator, so 0.06 plus 0.36, and this would be 0.42 as our answer. And there we have it. Okay, let's reduce this all again nice and neatly so that it doesn't go on to the next question. Question 15. The straight line L1 has equation y equal to 3x minus 4. The straight line L2 is perpendicular to L1 and passes through the point 9, 5. Find an equation for L2. Okay, perpendicular, first of all. When it's perpendicular, it means that the gradient of both of them equals -1 when you multiply them, okay? So the gradient of the first one is just the coefficient of x, which is 3, so that means the gradient of the second one will be -1 over 3. Now it passes through this point, so we have to use the point slope form, which is which is y minus y1, so m into x minus x1. Okay, now we use the point, so y minus 5 equal to m, the new slope, which is -1/3, x minus 9, and then we just have to simplify it. Multiplying, we're gonna have y minus 5 equal to -1/3 of x plus 3. Adding 5 on both sides, our answer would be -1/3 x plus 8. And there we go, we have it. Next question. Shirley wants to find an estimate for the number of bees in her hive. On Monday, she catches 90 of the bees. She puts a mark on each bee and returns them to her hive. On Tuesday, she catches 120 of the bees. She finds that 20 of the bees have been marked. Work out an estimate for the total number of bees in her hive. Okay. So on Monday, she catches 90. She puts a mark on each bee and returns them. So that will be 120 minus the 20 which have already been marked. So that means there's actually a total of 100 of them for Tuesday. Now she has to add it on to the one that she got on Monday, which is 90. Okay, guys, so I'm bringing
there's like approximately
the F together. Here I realized I made a mistake. So when I expanded the bracket, I forgot to put df minus 4d
of the bees in there.
So that's the mistake.
Okay, the next part of the question
here
is,
you can see that
Shelley assumes that none of the marks had rubbed off
and then
between Monday and Tuesday.
Move the -4
if Shelley's assumption is wrong, explain
so
what effect this would have on your answer to part A.
Answer. So I wasn't supposed to add the 3 and the 4
so she
together to
assumed
get 7.
that none of them had rubbed
I
off.
was supposed to have an answer.
That assumption is wrong. It means some of them are actually rubbed off. So it means we will need to take away more from this. We probably need to take away 30 or something. If we're taking away more, that means this answer will be less. So maybe there will be less number of bees than 190 in her beehive. Next question. Let's see. Make F the subject of the formula. D equals equal to that. Okay, we want to start by multiplying D by F minus 4. So I'll put that in brackets, equal to 3 into 1 minus F. Then I expand the brackets on both sides. This will be df minus 4 equal to 3 minus 3f. That's it. Question 18. X is proportional to the square root of y, where y is greater than 0. Y is increased by 44%. Work out the percentage increase in x. If x is proportional to the square root of y, it means x is equal to k root y. If you increase y, this y is increased by 44%. You're going to have x equal to k 1.44 y. You know how I got this, right? Well, if you want to get the final value, you take the multiplier, which is 1.44, and times it by y. That's how I got it. Or if you need more in-depth explanation on percentage increase or decrease, just let me know in the comments section. I'm going to explain a bit further there. Okay, so now x will be equal to k, the square root of 1.44. Well, that's 144, so it will be 1.2, because the square root of 144 is 12. Now, means 12 times 12 equal to 144. So if I do 1.2 times 1.2, it will give me 1.44. Okay, so this will be 1.2 root of y, still in there. It simply means that x will now have a new value, 1.2k root of y. Now percentage increase is actually the number that had been added onto the original amount to get the final amount. So we can see here that this 1.2 is a multiplier, and how do we get the actual percentage which was added? You simply have to do 1 minus 1.2, which is 0.2, and 0.2 is the same as 20%. Okay, next question. F and g are functions such that f of x equals that and g of x equals that. Find g of 5. Okay, super easy. Just plug in 5. So g of 5 would equal 3 brackets 2 times 3, 2 times 5 plus 1. 3, 10 plus 1, which is 33. Why are my 3's always wobbly? Okay, find g of f of 9. So means you should first of all find f of 9, then you plug it into g. So f of 9 will be 12 over root 9, which is root 9 is 3, so the answer will be 4. Then you have g f of 9, and that would be g f of 9 would be equal to 3 brackets 2 times 4 plus 1. 2 times 4 is 8, 8 plus 1 is 9, 9 times 3, 27. Find g inverse of 6. So we need to first of all find g inverse. So what do? We let y be equal to 3 brackets 2x plus 1. Then we make x the subject of the formula. Well, so I'm going to have y equal to 6x plus 3. I'm going to subtract 3 on both sides. That will be y minus 3 divided by 6 equal to x. Then this would mean our inverse. So I'm just going to reduce this. So our inverse, g inverse of x is x minus 3. I'm swapping back the y for x, and I'm just going to plug in the 6. So that we're going to have g inverse of 6 as, well, 6 minus 3. So 6 minus 3 over 6. 3 over 6, which is 1/2. Next question. Show that square root of 180 can be written in the form of this. Okay, okie. So here we have surds. We're going to have to be rationalizing the denominator as much as possible, and we have to be careful as much as possible as well. Okay, so this will be root of 180 minus 2 root 5 multiply the top and the bottom by the conjugate of the bottom, so plus 5 over 5 root 5 minus 5 root 5 plus 5. Okay, now let's keep in mind root of 180. Well, you can use the factor tree, prime factorization, and break this down as much as possible, but then I can write this as 90 times 2, and I can actually write this as 45 times 2 times 2, and then I can write this as 9 times 5 times 2 times 2. Okay, perfect. The perfect squares here are 9 and 4. So I can simplify this. So that would be 3 times 2, and then the root 5 is going to stay in there. So this will be 6 root 5. Perfect. Okay. So root 180 should be equal to 6 root 5. So now I can actually swap this out and confidently write 2, why do I keep saying 2? 6 root 5 and multiply out. Okay, let the show begin. So 6 root 5 times 6 root 5, well, 6 times 5 is 30, and then root 5 times root 5 is 5, so 30 times 5 is 150 minus, I'm gonna have to indicate this, that this is what I'm multiplying out so that you see it. And now I'm doing 6 root 5 times 5, which is 30 root 5. Now I move on to the 2 root 5. So negative 2 root 5 times positive 5 root 5. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 times 5 is 50. So minus 50. And then negative 2 root 5 times 5 would be negative 10 root 5 over 5 root 5 times 5 root 5 is 25 times 5, which is 75. And then look at something. This is a difference of 2 squares, okay? It's a difference of 2 squares. And if you know the rule, a plus b times a minus b, you just got to do a squared minus b squared, okay? You get your answer. So the a in this case would be 5 root 5 squared minus the b, which is 5 squared. So 5 root 5 times 5 root 5 gave me 25 times 5, which is 75. And I'm just going to take away 25 in the end, which makes the process a lot easier. Okay, and now we simplify further. 150 minus 50 is 100. Negative 30 root 5 minus 40 minus 10 root 5 is negative 40 root 5. 75 minus 25 is 50. 100 divided by 50, I'm just going to separate both of them, would be 2 minus 40 over 50 is 4/5 root 5. There we go. We have written it in that form and we're done. Question 21. DF is a triangle. E is a midpoint of FD. Right over here. Q is a midpoint of DE. FD from F to D, so from here to here, is A. Okay, if it's A, means half of it will be half A. And FE, so from here to here, is B. Use vector method to prove that PQ is parallel to FE. PQ, this is PQ right here, will be parallel to FE. So what we can do, guys, is show that FE is a scalar multiple of PQ. So we first of all need to find PQ. Let me see how many marks this is. This should be 4 marks. Okay. So let's first of all find PQ. For us to go from P to Q, we can go from P to D, and then we go from D to Q. Put the arrows. P to D is half of A, so this would be half of A. And D to Q, well, D to Q is half DE. But we do not know what DE is. Let me erase some of this. So we want to find DE. Okay. So let's find DE. If we want to go from D to E, I think we can go from D. We can use what we know because they've given us just these parts. They've given us this as B and this as A. So for us to go from D to E, we have to do D to F. We're going backwards. And then F to E, which is negative A plus B. Okay, I can finally plug it in here. So my PQ would be half of A plus half. DE is negative A plus B. So then PQ is half of A plus negative half A plus half of B. Half A cancels out and we're going to have half of B, which is perfect. So what do we notice? Like I told you in the beginning, we have to just show that FE is a scalar multiple of PQ. FE for FE and P. Oh my goodness. And PQ to be parallel to each other. They must be scalar multiples of each other. So FE is B and PQ is half B. So if you multiply this by 2, you're going to get FE. And if you multiply FE by half, you're going to get PQ. So that's it. That's all you had to show. Okay. Now the last 2 questions. The diagram shows 2 shaded shapes A and B. Shape A is formed by removing a sector of a circle with radius 3x minus 1 centimeters from a sector of the circle with radius 5x minus 1. Shape B is a circle of diameter 2 minus 2x centimeters. The area of shape A is equal to the area of shape B. Find the value of x. You want to be working. Okay, this is 5 marks in total. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so let's keep in mind area of a sector is theta over 360 pi radius squared. So the area of this region would be area of the major segment minus the area of the minor sector. Sorry, I meant sector. And that equals theta, well, theta is 45 degrees. Okay, keep in mind they're both going to share theta over 360 pi. So I'm just going to factorize that out, and we're going to be left with a radius square. So the different radii would be 5x, keep in mind 5x minus 1 square minus 3x minus 1 square. And well, if I simplify this fraction, 9 can divide both of them, so that would be 5 over 40 pi. Bracket, I'm just going to expand the bracket at once, so that's going to be 25x square minus 10x plus 1 minus 9x square plus, no, minus 6x plus 1. Okay, this can be simplified again to 1/8 pi. This would be 25x squared minus 10x plus 1 minus 9x plus 6x minus 1. Okay, the ones would cancel out. Great, which is 1/8 pi. 25 minus 9 is 16x squared. Negative 10 plus 6x. That's negative 4x. Okay, 1/8. This can be simplified. We can divide by 2 here. We're going to have a quarter pi into 8x squared minus 2x. Or why not divide by 4? Okay, sorry. Let me easy to divide by 4, so hold on. That would be half pi 4x squared minus x. Okay, now they say this is equal to the radius of B, sorry, the area of B. My goodness, I'm a little tired. That would be area of B, which will be pi, radius. Okay, the radius, please don't make this mistake, divide by 2. That will be 1 minus 1x. So thankfully both of them were divisible by 2. 1 minus 1x squared. I'm just going to open up these, and keep in mind that they say both areas are the same, so I'm going to say area of A, which is a half pi 4x squared minus x should be equal to pi, well, I'm just going to open this bracket at once, 1 minus 2x plus x squared. Okay, pi would cancel out. I'm going to multiply the other side by 2, the right hand side by 2. This will be 4x squared minus x equals 2 minus 4x plus 2x squared. Then I subtract 2x squared on both sides. Gonna have, oh, and I add 4x. This would be 2x squared plus 3x equal to 2. Or I just bring over the 2 and it becomes minus 2 equal to 0. So I guess we can use a quadratic formula. So x would be negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is 9 minus 4. A times c is negative 4, so over 2a. So x will be equal to negative 3 plus or minus square root of 9 minus minus, well, that will be 16, so 16 plus 9 is 25 over 4. Now I have to reduce the size of this just to get more space. And that would mean my x can either be -3 plus or minus 5 over 4. Well, using the plus, we're gonna have -3 plus 5, which is -2. No, pardon me, +2. So we're gonna have 2 over 4, and using the negative, we're gonna have -3 minus 5, which is -8. -8 over 4. So the answer can either be half or -2. But length cannot be negative, so we cannot choose -2, and the answer for x is -half. Okay, this was a super long question, which is really tedious, so I'm just gonna go ahead and reduce all of this, put them in one space so that we can do the last question. Okay, which is question 23. There are 4 types of cards in a game. Each card has a black circle or a white circle, or a black triangle or a white triangle. The number of cards with black shape to the number of cards with white shape is 3:5, and the number of cards with circle to the number of cards with triangle is 2:7. Express the total number of cards with the black shape as a fraction. So we want number of cards with the black shape as a fraction, number of cards as a fraction of the total number of cards with a triangle. So we want number of black shape cards divided by number of cards with the triangle. That's what we want to find. Let's find the number of cards with black shapes. So the first ratio says the number of cards with black shape to number of cards with white shape is 3/8. So we're just gonna call that black. So wait, I'm gonna write it beside here. So black to white equals 3/5. And number of cards with a circle, I'm just gonna have that one as a C. Number of cards with a circle to number of cards with a triangle is 2/7. And let's start by finding the number of cards with a black shape. Let's just say there are X amount of cards, because they didn't give us. Let's say there are X amount of cards. So the number of cards with a black shape would be 3 out of 8, because 3 plus 5 is 8, 3/8 of X. While the number of cards with a triangle is 7 out of 9 times still the same X. So if we want to find B over T, we're going to have to do 3/8 X over 7/9 X, which is basically the X cancelling out, 3/8 times 9/7. If you keep changing flip method, or keep flip and change, KFC, you're gonna have this, and that should give us 27/56, and that's the answer. Okay, that's about it for today's video, guys. I am so tired. If you've made it this far and you found this video helpful, please, I really appreciate it if you give me a massive thumbs up, like hit the thumbs up button below. And if you like solving maths, or you're a maths enthusiast like me, or you're just looking for revision for your exams, then why not subscribe? Okay, and I will see you on my next video, or you can watch the next video which is popping up on the screen right now, and keep on revising. Okay, I will see you guys in my next video guide. Bye.